before we start the next video, I just want to tell the audience, this is a good article by Jim Walker. Did a historical J-boy exist? But mostly he talks about the authenticity of the satanic books. And he shows proofs that there's nothing authentic about him and nothing historical about them. So, and that will be at the end of the website and also in the comment section. So you can look at that. Now we'll go to the video.
The verses themselves, how they describe this subject. And we want to see whether or not this actually accurately describes Jesus. So in Isaiah 52 verse 14 it says, "Surely his visage was marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men." And similarly in Isaiah 53 verse 2 it says, "He had no form nor comeliness that we should look upon him, nor beauty that we should delight in him." In other words, it's describing somebody that is so ugly, so disfigured, that it's difficult to look at him. That person hides their face and says, "I don't want to look at such a face." Now the question is, was Jesus hard to look at? Well, the real answer is, we don't know. We don't have any pictures of Jesus. But if it counts for anything, how is Jesus portrayed in Christian art throughout the ages? Well, I brought down here two pictures, but he doesn't look like someone that's hard to look at or disfigured. On the contrary, he looks like a beautiful man.
I don't even think this is a valid argument. The prophet describes the servant in his suffering. He's not talking about whether the servant is ugly or handsome. So I think it's completely unfair to compare paintings and drawings of the Messiah with the prophecy in Isaiah 53. The prophet made a description of the Messiah in his suffering, not about paintings from artists that don't even know what the Messiah looked like.
So he admits that all these Christians are lying devils, and they're making paintings of somebody that they don't know what they look like, to make him look like a handsome guy so the girls will worship him. Okay? So I'm glad you admit that you're lying devils. Thank you. So don't accuse me of claiming that I claim that they're liars. He himself admits that they're liars. All the Christians are liars. Okay? So please.
To give an illustration on how incredibly silly this argument is, let's say some group in the Holocaust would be considered a righteous group, and they would look at the scriptures for comfort, and the rabbi gets to Isaiah 53, thinking it's about the righteous remnant of Israel. Then he would read Isaiah 52 verse 14 and start to single the handsome rabbis out and separate them from the group, saying, "Sorry, brothers, this passage is not about you. You're just not ugly enough." How miserably silly would this understanding and application of this verse be? Now, I'm not saying this to mock you personally or something, but this is the argument that you make.
Moving on, we look at Isaiah 53 verse 3, and this is more serious. It says, "He was despised and forsaken of men, a man of pains and acquainted with disease, as one from whom men hide their faces. He was despised and we esteemed him not." In other words, what's being described over here is somebody who is roundly despised and rejected. Somebody who people hide their faces from, people run away from him, and in general, he's somebody that is, again, as I mentioned, despised. Is that what we know about Jesus? Being roundly rejected and despised would mean something more than the ordinary. So Jesus had his opposers, we all do. But Jesus, at least according to the New Testament, is not somebody that we would characterize as somebody who is roundly despised and rejected.
Yes, this is exactly what we know about Yeshua. What you are doing, Rabbi, is taking a few verses where people are drawn to the Messiah when he started his ministry and say, "See, he was loved by a lot of people." But I can do that with verses about Israel too. There are a bunch of verses where Israel is portrayed appealing. But it would be unfair to take those verses and say, "See, Israel is loved by the nations. Therefore, this chapter and these specific verses are not about Israel. As I said, the servant is described in his suffering. In his suffering, he underwent everything on his own. He had some followers who completely left him when he got arrested. His close inner circle completely abandoned him, even denying him when people asked them about him. He was despised by his enemies and rejected by his friends in his suffering.
Now, this is going to be a while video. We're going to have to make it into 3 or 4 parts. We're going to show you this whole false claim of the satanic cult. Here we have the website of he claims a Messianic Jew. They try to find Jewish roots. More about the J-boy. This is the Jewish roots. So we're going to see his commentary, what it says over here, and we'll see what we have to say. Who has believed our message, and whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? The message is one concerning the servant's greatness. The arm of the Lord is divine. Yes, the Hebrew word for arm is a roa, the same word used for the shank bone of the lamb found on the Passover Seder plate. Today, to remind us of the Passover lamb, describe one who would come as a sacrificial lamb for us. Applied the same prophecy at large. Again, we don't care what your John, Luke, Harry, Mary, whatever drunks wrote your book, what it say. As the Naki boy says, we follow the true prophets. Okay? Nowhere is the arm of the Lord associated with the lamb of the Passover lamb. I don't know what the Passover lamb has to do with his dead God. And the fact that we have to put it on the Seder plate. Why would any Jew remind himself about your dead God on the Seder plate when we don't believe in your dead God? So obviously it has nothing to do with your dead God. But let's see what the arm of the Lord actually means. We'll let the prophets tell. Oh, look at this. Look what we have. Isaiah 52. Let's see what we have. The Lord has made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God. So what does the holy arm mean? Not like drunks said, it means might and salvation. Not a sacrifice for any gods or God or gods or whatever. So, Anaki boy, who should we listen to? The prophet or your drunks?